Welcome to your week, folks. It is so bad it's good. Pop culture roundup. I am so excited. Sophie is off this week, but I have one of my favorite people to talk to. In fact, this is not even being recorded. I just told her it's being recorded so I can talk to her for an hour. But you guys know her and love her. We're about to make some big announcements for Lex. We're not going to do it just quite yet, but the moment we can, because there's something really cool brewing in the works on multiple fronts that I cannot wait to share with you guys, where we are going to go and support Lex with everything that we have within us. But I also want to point out it is Halloween today, I guess. I have been moving, so I have no clue. The only clue that clued me in was, first off, Lex is wearing cat ears, I believe. That's right. And this is what's great about not great about being a dude, is that this is the time of year on Instagram, especially, where you see all the girlies at their Halloween parties. And Lex was at one last night in Chinatown. Lex Niko, welcome back to the show.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. And yes, Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Okay, so, you just say that, and then it's like after Halloween, you're like, Christmas is my favorite holiday.
No, I'm not a big Christmas girly. Like, I love Christmas, but like Halloween, the getting dressed up, the makeup, like I love everything about it.
Okay, so Halloween's on Monday. We're recording this on a Saturday, you guys. So last night she did this on a Friday, and now I'm going to ask the very important question. How many more Halloween parties are you going to in the next couple of days? And how many outfits have you already planned? Or are we just doing the cat outfit for each one? Because I know the answer is no.
Okay, no. So I was a cat last night. And let me tell you, the cat came together last minute because
it looked awesome by the way, you guys.
Thank you. I had the bodysuit from last year when I did for just like an internal thing. I didn't post it anywhere.
Wait. You guys, I had the cat suit for like a intern. Does that mean a personal thing? Like you go in?
Yes, but not like a kink thing. Like I did it as a joke to my friends. I was Kim Kardashian at the Met. Okay. So I had all of the stuff and I was like, I can use this bodysuit again and I can be Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz from Batman or whatever.
Yes.
And you know what? I felt really cool.
Since this will be on Monday, and I don't
Monday is
nobody will hear this.
Halloween.
Okay, so what are the other costumes? So this won't be a spoiler alert because it'll already have happened.
It will already happen.
What will tonight and Sunday be?
So I have a party tonight. This is my last costume, and I'm going as Wednesday Addams.
Perfect. You know? And by the way, that ties in with the new, not just Addams Family, but the new Netflix series Wednesday that Tim Burton is directing for Netflix that comes out, I believe, like in the next week and a half.
Exactly.
But you promoting for Netflix? Did Netflix pay you to dress up as Wednesday?
They did not, but that is where I got the idea from. And my hairdresser was like, you need a haircut. And I was like, no, but this is perfect because then I don't need a wig. I can just put my hair into pigtails. And then I got a little dress. Like Amazon is racking it up this weekend. And then the returns are coming next weekend.
Oh, I mean, think about the poor Amazon people that have to get all of those costume returns and just like random pieces of jewelry returned for outfits. Oh. Is there a Sunday outfit?
No Sunday outfit. And then on Monday, I'm going to New York. So I fly to New York Monday. I don't know. I might meet up with Kelly from, Laguna Beach.
Yeah, Laguna Beach and Beyond the Blinds. Yes, of course.
And I might have to pull a costume out of my hat because, New York, like they're definitely going out on a Monday night because it's Halloween, right?
Well, and also if you're with Kelly, yeah. I mean, like, although dress up as a Red Bull vodka because Kelly loves Red Bull vodka.
Oh, I should just be a White Claw. I should be a White Claw.
Oh my God. No, I gotta tell you, so then I guess the other question, we'll get into the pop culture in a second, folks. We're catching up, but the thing is, I was like, first off, where what are these parties? How do we get invited to these parties? I feel like such a flippin' loser. Like I'm not invited. I just sit in here and podcast you guys, and everybody's talking about these parties. I need next year. I am going to parties. Okay, I am getting invited.
I am inviting you to parties then because last night I went to Diplo in Chinatown, which like I had never been, but like it sounds so aggressive and it was, but it was so much fun.
Wait, Diplo threw a party in Chinatown.
Yes. So
did he DJ or did he just throw the party?
He DJ'd. So there was a bunch of other DJs.
There's a whole world going on out there, folks. And I'm in here moving shit all week. Like did Diplo, what was he dressed as?
Oh my God. I don't even know. He was in like a black priest type thing. Like it was very,
Amazing.
you know, obscure.
Very Diplo.
Very Diplo.
So this was my idea because I thought about this earlier in the week. I was like, if I had time and if I would go out, I saw somebody that you can get one of those plastic coffee, like those plastic outfits of a Dunkin' Coffee's cup. And then I was going to I was going to get a cardboard standout of Ben Affleck and tape it to me like I was his Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Coffee. What?
I tried to buy that coffee cup, but it was sold out.
No, see, I was like, I bet I can go to Kinko's and make a 6 foot tall Ben Affleck and then tape it to myself and I could be his Dunkin'.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Costume idea for next year, because we all know that Ben and his Dunkin' are timeless.
Yes.
You go as Ben Affleck and I'll go as the Dunkin'.
Yes. Okay. That's done. That's in that. By the way, if you don't do this, I will sue you and this will be used in a court of law against you. I see. The other thing, if I had a better body, I would go as Ben Affleck's Phoenix tattoo that he has on his back. I would just go shirtless with, or maybe you can actually buy like one of those buff bodies.
Get the wings.
Just wings. Yeah. So Halloween's exciting. I'm excited to watch it all through the lens of Instagram. Where it's a great place at home where you can watch that and just, do your
Safe
stupid
space.
shit at home. Yeah. So much in pop culture has been happening, Lex. And I don't listen, the last time I talked to you, we were in like kind of a Royals frenzy and we even hopped back on so you could explain all of that. I mean, I hate to start there, but like, we got this word this week that Prince Harry's book is coming out. And wait, okay. So explain to me why they've titled Prince Harry, he's titled his autobiography Spare. What's the meaning there?
So there is this like typical moniker in the royal family where it's like, Prince William is the firstborn. So he's in line to be king. So he's the heir. And Prince Harry is the spare. He's like the spare brother in case something happens.
So already that's already kind of cheeky and a little bit shady in a way.
That's the thing that's so fascinating is like, it could be taken so many ways. At first glance, I'm like, oh, this is salacious and like a little bit, offside, but also it was like common knowledge among everybody that that's what he was known as. So it's also just like very relevant. And what I found interesting, I found so interesting is like, we have Meghan Markle doing her Archetypes podcast, but it's like, what is the archetype of the word spare to Prince Harry? That's what I want to know. And I hope that's what we get in the book. And
it's like, so I read it's like a 435 page book. So it's like I'm like, because I'm used to like Bravo Labs and they're like 180 page books. So I'm like, all right, good for you, Harry, writing a 400 page book. But do we think it's in bad taste or poor form since it's happening this close to the Queen's death? I mean, I know this had been in the works for a very long time, but is it one of those things that he's going to get more hate for and more? Because I didn't realize until I had talked to you and a couple of other people and started getting more into the royals that like, the hate that Meghan Markle's had to deal with. Yeah. I'm like, it's really weird. It's like one of those like Housewives, like Rinna thing where people either love Meghan Markle or hate her. And I'm like, why do you hate her? Well, because and I'm like, well, I don't understand coming into it why it's so intense on both sides.
I mean, okay. The Meghan Markle thing is interesting. First of all, when she was in the royal family, there was like a lot of racism and everything like that. And that's fine.
Yes, I knew about that from the Oprah interview.
About that. But what I feel is interesting about Meghan Markle, the more that I've like watched them and read her articles and everything, she gives me that like Anne Hathaway vibe. Remember Anne Hathaway like 5-7 years ago and everybody just like did not like her? Yeah, Hathaway hate. And now she's like Annie. She's in her Amal Clooney era.
Oh, I loved her on that WeWork thing on Apple TV.
Yes.
You're right, though. Guys, remember, it was around the time she won the Oscar for Les Mis, I believe.
Yes.
And it was like she had done a couple of interviews where she said some really pretentious things. And we all agreed as a society to hate Anne Hathaway, which we sometimes do this with a person and we'll just all decide at one moment. And then, because the thing that I love and the thing that I hate is like time and talent. Is that if you have talent like Anne Hathaway does, whether you like her or not, you then need to wait the time where people forget that they used to hate you and then talent shines through again. But it's a lot of people don't have talent, so they don't end up making their way back into Hollywood,
Exactly. And I think with Meghan, she's in this Hathaway hate era. I'm not sure.
I love this so much.
I'm not sure like where it's going to go because it seems like she's trying to figure out what her story and her narrative is in real time. Like she did that Variety article and she's like, I'm just a nerdy American mom. And that's like coming off the Cut article where she was talking about like
the deal or no deal, like being like, you know, feeling like a piece of meat in that. And like well, she's in one of those really interesting pop culture moments where nothing you say is right. Nothing Correct. You say, like, not like I would just disappear for a while and hopefully you have enough money, which I think she does to do that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I've witnessed this time and time again. Like this person cannot say anything right at this point. We will take every piece of, I've noticed it a little bit too with Olivia Wilde as well from the director of Don't Worry, Darling. And the, you know, your fave Harry's lady is that no matter what, because we're coming off the salad dressing with the Jason Sudeikis and the nanny and
him throwing himself under the car.
Jason Sudeikis, by the way, that's where I was, by the way, all you girls will always be like, relatable queen. And when I heard the Jason Sudeikis, I was like, relatable king. Like I could see myself throwing myself in front of the car. Like I was reliving. I don't have any relationship with either three of those people, but I've fought to get somebody back that has decided to go. So I've never laid under a car, but I would have, but like you can see it. You can like, that's what I think about is so interesting is that these people create art, but now the art is their own lives. And we're more fixated on that. Like, but yet Harry Styles has managed to escape any kind of persecution. Like we all throw all of our hate onto Olivia Wilde. Harry's doing a sold out night 15 run at the Forum in Los Angeles right now, which I have not been able to get tickets for because
oh my gosh, I know
you bastard ladies that have just like now they're like for $800 on StubHub and I want to get my Harry on. But like, I was watching Don't Worry, Darling finally. And
thoughts?
I thought it was like really stylized. I liked parts of it. I thought, but unfortunately, since we have so much TV now, it reminded me like not even as good of a really good Black Mirror episode, but like shot beautifully. And dude, Florence Pugh, like she pops on screen. Like, I mean, just
she was just incredible.
Watch her pop. I just always, and coming from an acting background, I just like, even just in the small moments, she just does so much with it. And like Harry was good, like, but like, he wasn't bad, but like when you're going up against Florence Pugh, I just thought
I know it's like a heavy hitter, it's like,
but at the same time, he's not bad. So, and he's Harry Styles. So you already kind of love him, but Lex, why do we pit these two women against each other when it's like, well, Harry obviously flirted with both of them. Why aren't we mad at Harry for first probably making out with Florence and then switching tracks and going for Olivia? Why are we mad at Olivia?
I think just in the same way that there's that Hathaway hate side, there's this like other category of celebrity that's like untouchable, right? And it's typically these like men that women lust after and they feel protection and an overbearing connection to them, and that parasocial behavior gets out of control. And I always say this, I'm like, there's a difference between fans and fandom. And like, I'm a fan of Chris Evans. I love him. He's my number one crush.
You guys, you and like, K York City, one of our good friends, you guys fight over your fandom of Chris. I mean, by the way, I love this that none of you guys are actually close to dating Chris Evans, but I bet you've had fights. No. I bet you've had fights over who, like, if he dates you first, will you still be my friend?
Absolutely.
I bet you had ridiculous conversations.
Absolutely. But like, there's us who can laugh and joke about that. And then there are the people that like, I post anything about Chris Evans. I post, yes, he's dating Alba Baptista or whatever. The DMs from the fandom people are sickening. They're like,
what do you mean?
Chris isn't like that. There's no way that he would date somebody young and blah, blah. It's like, you don't know him, babes. Like, you don't know him, but they truly feel that connection. And I think that's so similar with Harry Styles with his fans that like, they feel this connection to him that they protect him and live in this bubble where he's perfect.
By the way, I have a very small level of that being the bad boy of podcasting. I have a very small, I mean, it's 3 people, but still they protect me very well. No, but like, don't you, It is funny because when I was reading like the nanny of like Harry Styles and the Jason Sudeikis nanny and Olivia Wilde nanny and the recounting of it, to me, I was like, this is so detailed and specific that I have no choice but to believe all of this because it's so messy. It involves, and guys, this whole show for the last many years I've done this is that reminding it's like just because somebody has a talent of acting or singing doesn't mean they're perfect. They are messier than we are. And just think about how messy our personal lives are. Think about your messiest boyfriend or girlfriend out there and all the shit you did to them or they did to you that people like were going, no way, he did that to you. He cheated on you with this and this and this, and you found out because of this. They do the same thing. Just because they're rich and they're talented don't make them any different than us. It's just that they're richer and more
talented.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But they don't get excused.
They're people. They make mistakes. We all make mistakes and nobody is perfect. And like I think sometimes, like you're saying, there are certain people, and especially these fandoms that like think that they can do no wrong in their eyes. And I believe that is the case with our friend Harry Styles. Also, I'm wearing my Harry Styles Love on Tour.
She works for Big Harry, Big Pharma for Harry Styles. Wait, did you already see him at one of the Forum shows?
I saw him, was it last year or earlier? Yeah, it was last year.
You saw him at one of the New York shows. Did you see him at MSG?
No, here at the Forum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's got to be just raking it in. Like, and Olivia Wilde, Olivia Wilde seems kind of into herself, which is awesome. Like, it's cool to love yourself. But like, I don't think I could date like the female equivalent of a Harry Styles because like too many people love Harry Styles where I'd be like, what the hell? How would I ever I think I would just walk around feeling bad about myself all day. I could do it.
Olivia Wilde. No, I don't know if I could do it either, but I think Olivia Wilde is like, how do I say this? Like in her own mind, she like exudes confidence. I think she thinks she is the coolest, baddest bitch out there.
You kind of do get that vibe. You get that vibe. Like, so she might not even. She might not even be cognizant of
exactly
like they're potentially equals in her head in a certain way.
She was married to a prince. Then she married the lovable Jason Sudeikis. And now she's with Harry Styles. Like her track record, incredible.
I mean, and she had the power to run over Jason Sudeikis with a car. Like how many people can say
like what's going on there? What's in that damn salad dressing?
By the way, that's what I love about pop culture, you guys, is stuff like the salad dressing. Because to me, that's what makes it so exciting and so relatable and so like the mystery of the salad dressing. It's like these mysteries, like what happened in the Sprinter van between Kathy and Reno? What happened? Like these not knowings make fandom so exciting and toxic at the same time. Correct. Speaking of potentially toxic fandom, Taylor Swift's new album came out, Midnights, last week, and then then she was like, hey, F you guys. 3 hours later she does a 3 a.m. version of like I'm not done yet, and I'm like, dude, like first off, chill. Like chill. Like what is going on?
Does Taylor Swift really have chill? Like does the girl chill?
Dude.
And I'm a Swiftie, yes. But like does Taylor Swift really have chill? Come on.
Can you take us through your experience? Did you wait up till midnight? Did you, what do you think of the album? Favorite tracks? Take us through that. And also I've got a little bit of tea. I potentially saw stadium dates that are about to be announced. I have very specific information that I cannot give here yet, but there is.
But you're going to tell me when we stop recording.
I will.
Right? Okay.
I will tell you when we stop recording. Yes, but a tour is imminent.
Oh, okay. This is going to be
save your money,
tough.
Guys.
Like we've got Beyonce, we've got Taylor, we've got Rihanna.
Who's the third one? Rihanna.
Rihanna. Yeah.
Which we got to talk about Rihanna's Lullaby from Wakanda Forever too.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to
Taylor.
I'm too excited to talk to Lex.
I know there's so much.
Okay. Take us through the Taylor.
Okay. So it came out at midnight, but that was 9 p.m. here, right?
Yeah,
on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I did listen to that, but I did not stay up till midnight to listen to the 3 a.m. drop. I listened to that the next day. Were you tipped off that the 3 a.m. drop was going to happen? No, I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea. So I listened to it and I was like, oh, I like this. I can get down with it. Now I listen to it all day, every day, the whole album. I'm not even kidding you.
It's only been a week. I mean, it's not
I
like
listen
this
to
a year
it
later.
all of the time.
What's your favorite song?
So funny. I go back and forth, but right now I'm really liking Maroon, Midnight Rain, and Mastermind. But like, I love Lavender Haze. I love Dear Reader. I love Paris. Like,
we're hearing Anti-Hero is the one that's making all the memes and the TikToks and all of that stuff.
Exactly.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
Which is like, that is so, it's such a, sometimes I feel like it was Lizzo. I was listening to Lizzo's newest album, and there was like a song about birthdays and for the girlies and stuff. And I was like, sometimes I wonder if they write this because it comes from their soul, or they write it because they're like, well, this will be played at every girl's birthday for the rest of their lives, And I wonder if that is, and Taylor's one of the best businesswomen or businessmen I've ever, I think she's up there with like Kris Jenner, but even better because I don't think she ever has to go mean. Like she does things with such a cool kindness and likes to put mystery. And I really just dig her whole, she's like a way more successful J.J. Abrams of music. She like, it involves like mystery, and I don't know. I love everything about her. Do you think the release of this album was handled well? And what do you think about her? Because she says this is a collaborative album with Jack Antonoff, of course, from Bleachers, and he works with every female artist ever. Do you like Jack Antonoff?
Yeah, I love Bleachers. I really do. Like, I'm a huge fan of theirs. And so I was very excited about it. I love stylistically the sound of this album. I know it's not for everybody, but like, I love this album. Right? Yes. Yeah. And like, she did an interview. I think it was Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel. I can't remember. And she was like, this is my most like vulnerable album that I've ever made. And what I love about that is, to your point, she's saying that to us, but like, I do feel like, she's a songwriter. That is her craft. Like, she writes things and she's like, oh, I know this is going to be relatable. I know that like, I'm going to make every girl out there, when I'm singing Mastermind, go on TikTok and talk about how they tricked their boyfriend into dating them and marrying them and everything. Right. Like, and I mean, she obviously holds grudges. We have another John Mayer song on the 3 a.m.
And
we have vigilante shit, which clearly, allegedly it's about Kanye or Scooter Braun. Like, I go back and forth still.
Isn't there a lyric in there too, also about like being friends with Kim Kardashian still after, like, wasn't there a line in one of the songs? Picture me
thick as thieves with your ex-wife.
Yes. Yeah. But that could be about Scooter Braun's ex-wife too.
Yes, exactly. Because the thing that's weird with the Scooter Braun situation is, so she talks about like, where do you think your wife got the envelope? So like, where do you think she got the proof or whatever? And so we're like, did she give Yael some type of proof? And then Scooter also has an FBI case. And like, it's just really, I don't know. And that's what I love about her. I'm like, you're like, she's so kind and blah, blah. I'm like, but
at the same time,
she is so sharp.
The Netflix documentary, what was that? Miss America? Is that what it was called?
Miss Americana.
Miss Americana. Like, I loved it because I love people, even though I think she lives in what looked like a Hobbit house from Lord of the Rings, which a lot of people like Lord of the Rings. So that's, but I love when people take it seriously, when people take their art seriously, when people go, I'm putting myself into this. Like, she really is crafting those songs. She really is feeling those emotions. She really is every moment on her. Like, oh, this is like, I love when people put the work in and then like good things come for those people, because you and me both know like what we do with our lives and trying to do with our lives. There's so much hard work, and like, it just takes so much to even move the needle just a little bit. So we got to support always those people. She's great, but she works for it, and that just,
she works for it. And when I watched that documentary, I remember I was like so fascinated at watching her writing process. Even when I watched the, who's the girl? Olivia, she has the Disney one about the
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. Like, watching her
working
make
with
that
album.
That guy. Yeah. It's so interesting. And it's like, you see these artists and they're, performing and they've got all this glitz and glamour, but at the end of the day, where they feel most at home is like in a closet, like you and I tend to sit and record, just writing with like one person and like working things out like a math equation. It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's, by the way, I'm really going to say a horrific statement right now that I'm going to regret. When I'm alone at 3 a.m. working to my Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap and doing the voices, I feel like I'm artistically... Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, two last things.
Perfect.
In London this past week. Now, I am one of the biggest Bon Iver fans. Justin Vernon has a band, Bon Iver, but it's mainly Justin. But he speaks to my soul, his music and stuff like that. He, of course, did a couple of songs through Aaron Dressner, who produced the Folklore album and Evermore. They have the song together on the Folklore album. What's it called?
Is it not Evermore?
No, Folklore. The with Justin Vernon. The
Exile. Sorry.
So Bon Iver played in London this week, and Taylor Swift came out for Exile, and I'm getting goose pimples all over my body right now because I'm like an old dude, and I'm like, I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
It was so good. That is my favorite song on that album.
It's so good.
I play it on repeat all of the time, and like. So when I saw that going around TikTok and Twitter and someone sent it to me, I was like watching it, like bawling my eyes out, but it was so funny. I watched it again and like he's singing and like one version I watched, the girl's hand is like so still and nobody's like singing along or bopping out or anything until she comes on stage. I'm like, they're so chill. They're so,
she comes out and they flip out. Because,
I know.
Well, I've been to Bon Iver concerts and like, listen, I sat down at the last Bon Iver concert because I love the artistry of what he does so much, but it's not like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
But is that the vibe of those concerts, or were people like in shock with anticipation of what could possibly happen?
A mix of both. Because also his is like a little beep boop, like a lot of different weird kind of computer sounds, but also with guitar. It's such a great sound he creates, but sometimes it's not the most get up on your feet excited sounds like you will for a couple songs. But the Taylor Swift thing, like because that would be a dream of mine to see Taylor and him sing that song. And the last thing I will say, and this is just speaks to her nerddom and our nerddom, is that the Midnight's album, you guys, you can get like, she sells like 8 billion different versions of this thing.
Seriously.
But and that's where I get a little bone to pick with Taylor. I'm like, how much money do we need? We're really like, kids, it's getting towards Christmas. People need to buy gifts for other people.
That's the Kris Jenner in her. That's the Kris Jenner in her.
But 4 of these albums, you guys, if you flip them on the back, it creates a clock.
Yes.
And my buddy, Matt Beyer, this is so funny. He's married to one of my best friends, Jess. He sent me a picture and he goes, yo, these albums create a clock? And then I go, Matthew, did you buy 4 of these Taylor Swift albums to make a clock? And he goes, no. And I go, Matthew, did you buy 4 of the? He goes, it makes a clock, man. And I was like, no way. And this guy's into just like grilling and sports, and like he loves vinyl.
Gosh.
But he bought 4 Taylor Swift albums because it makes a clock.
Because of the clock.
You flip that. Yeah, I was like, and he's like, I didn't have a watch, man. I need the clock. Okay. Where are you on? This is already going too fast. Where are you on? Like, did you watch Beverly Hills this week? Did you watch the final reunion? How are we feeling in summation?
I mean, first of all, I really can't, and maybe we're going back a couple of weeks. I cannot stand the way when there was the whole like "see you next Tuesday" versus "evil" argument. I think that was the second episode.
I thought the "see you next Tuesday" was the worst word, but all those girls are saying "evil's the worst word." Yeah.
They're such like it's like they have this pact, and I'm like, you're lying, but that's fine. But it just seems like those women, and by those women I mean Erica, Dorit, Lisa, and sometimes Kyle, like. They just don't want to, what am I trying to say here? Like, they don't want to admit that they're wrong or admit fault. And then it makes them look so stupid and nasty on the screen, in my opinion.
Don't you think that's why? Because it's like, I'm putting loose quotes around this because they actually are friends from filming so many years together that you almost have these blinders on where you're like, no, that's my friend and I rock with my friend and da 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 da. And I almost think that's like sometimes we'll do that and we shouldn't do that if our friends are completely in the wrong, but we do that. And I'm like, you guys look like fucking idiots. And I think sometimes they think they look cool. And then I think they're surprised then and dismayed when they hear audience reaction. And they're like, wait a sec, I thought we were like 100% in the right here,
I know. And I genuinely, that's a really good question. I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, I genuinely don't know what is going on in their head, but you're right. Like it could be a little thing of like, that's my friend. I'm loyal, defend it to the end. I have blinders on, but like at a certain point, I have to roll my eyes. Like
Yeah.
I have to roll my eyes.
Well, I mean, also, I think this is the thing of also being on a show where you get so much, I don't know about praise, but you get so much, it's funny because, you know, outside of certain circles, nobody knows what the hell we're talking about, you guys. Like,
yes.
If I talk to my dad's friends about like, what do I do for a living? Or I was even talking to my movers yesterday, and he's like, these Russian dudes. He's like, you big, I see you big, your equipment, you big, you do radio, you know? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I want to listen. And then I'm like, what's it about? And I start, this is a horrible accent, you guys. And I go, well, it's about like, you know, Bravo, this network. And he didn't know the network. And he goes, I was like, well, they have these like Housewives and it's like a reality. And then and you're just like, my heart's sinking the whole time I'm explaining it because he has this blank look on his face. And he's like, I guess send to me. And I'm like, I'm not going to send it.
You're like,
this is not going to be your jam. Like this
but like and subscribe, leave a review.
Yeah. But I was like, it is funny because I think they think they're at that Anne Hathaway level. They are the stars of their own lives.
And they are in like, we all saw BravoCon. It's undeniable the impact that they have, but it is certainly niche. But again, that being said, I'm just like, get your head out of your asses. Like you look like assholes. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I also want to talk about Kathy
coming in because this, by the way, I was so thankful. I thought the second part of the reunion, like you guys have heard me say, was so boring in some ways. And maybe I was just grumpy coming off BravoCon. But the third episode, like they only did 3 and not 4, which I was thankful for. But they really packed this third one in to the point where it did leave me wanting more, which is always a good sign. But like, where do you stand on this whole Kathy Rinna thing? Does it even matter to you anymore? Rinna is saying, well, Eric is like, she said the F word, the F-slur of this ninja, yeah. And Rinna's like, it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And even Andy's like, dude, what are you talking about? And Kathy, I thought, came in guns blazing for somebody that is supposedly doofy.
I know. So I'm torn because watching Kathy and watching how like defensive but also assertive she was toward those women, I was like, there's no way she did this. Like she was angry. She was angry about, you know, keep your wife's name out of my wife's name out of your mouth. Like, you know, she was angry. But then I was on Twitter and then the Twitter discourse gets to me and people are like, I don't like Lisa, but I believe Lisa. And I'm like, why? Why?
Like, first off, we should not call Twitter discourse because there's really not discourse happening on Twitter. Just a bunch of hate, which, by the way, shout out to Elon Musk, our new Twitter owner. But yeah, you're like, people believe Rinna, or you were saying people still believe Rinna, and you're like, why?
Yes, because I kind of believe Kathy. Like,
I believe that two things can be true at once.
Okay.
I believe that all of these women have had shit fits. I also believe all of these women have said things. I mean, you can go back to like TMZ, look it up, like TMZ Lisa Rinna or The Apprentice Lisa Rinna comments about African Americans. And she'll have done she did this one TMZ interview with the camera guy and she goes, oh, you look like you're from South Central and you might shoot me. And it was like, he was like, well, because I'm like, because I'm a black man. Like, and like, this is from years ago.
God.
This is like 8 or 9 years ago. You can find this clip on TM. I'll try to add it into the audio. But you know, she thought she was being all funny and saucy and that shit don't fly.
No,
I don't think the F slur flies ever. I think we both have very, very good gay friends. Yes. So but can I see Kathy in a fit of rage? Like, oh, this old queen, I mean, I don't know. Like part of me, she's already grumpy from the tequila. She's already grumpy from this. Like I've said some wild shit when I'm like angry, but at the same time, Rinna is an unreliable narrator. So the fact that it's coming from her, already goes like this. We don't trust you at all anyway. So even if it was true, wrong person for you to bring this information out.
Exactly. We don't have the footage. Maurizio was in the house and didn't hear anything.
Well, wait, that's
the
it.
Only
so
person
Maurizio was in the
defending
house, or was he somewhere else with
I don't know. I don't
but
know.
Maurizio, like a stoner sleep, he's just like passed out.
I know, but that's like Kyle said, he's in the house. So why didn't he hear anything? And then the only person corroborating your story is Erica Jane, who we've just seen you all lie for each other. Like, how am I supposed to believe that?
And also this thing made it out to the press. And the whole point is Erica Jane in this, she says, she's like, Kathy came right out to me and said, F slur, blah, blah, blah. I'm the only one she said it to. So that's only one person. Nobody else heard it, right?
Yeah.
So then we get into the Sprinter van with Lisa. Then we go back and Lisa's scared for her life because Kathy turns into the Incredible Hulk and starts breaking things. But yet both of those stories get leaked to the press. Erica's the only person who knew one of those stories. Rinna's the other person that knew the rest of the story. Yet both of those pieces of information got leaked. Is that just random? That can't just be Caribou Club patrons because it only was heard by one person for Erica. So no matter what anybody wants to say about this, Erica still was involved in one part of this being leaked. I mean, you just can't. If that's what she said, it came from Erica's mouth on this last part of the reunion. I'm the only one that heard it.
But Erica didn't leak it. Her publicist did.
Yeah. But he's representing Nikki. I don't think he'd ever do anything like that. No. And by the way, Erica, you don't need to keep telling us you've had sex so much. We get it.
Oh,
we're adults.
My gosh.
Listen, I've had sex a couple times in my life, and I've never taken to Twitter the next day of like, guess who got laid last night?
And it's like, who are you trying to win Tom back here? Like,
yeah, like, and then also to say, so you're like, oh, it's so nice for somebody to stay erect the whole time. And I'm like, is that a slam at Tom? Who are we slamming here? Like, I'm so confused at what we're trying to do. The man's
in a home. Like, let's leave it be.
Like, Erica, I hate to say it because it's entertaining in the worst way, but like,
I know.
First off, she compared herself to like, when the plane's going down, they say you got to save yourself. First off, don't bring up a plane analogy when the fucking thing is Lion Air crash victims. First off, and then the second thing she said, like, yeah, Tom calls all the time. I talk to him. And he goes, why do you talk to him? Humanity. We've been asking you to show humanity for the last 2 seasons towards actual victims of your husband. I'll even let you go and say you didn't have anything ever to do with this. You spent the money without any knowledge of where it was coming from. But for you to say humanity when actual humanity is demanded and deserved of these other victims of your husband, who you still talk to, who can't get erect, I feel like that is a basic thing, right?
Of course. But like, again, I'm such a conspiracy theorist with these things. I'm like, of course you're talking to him because there's another count offshore somewhere that Tom is still feeding you money, girl. Like, come on.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, I appreciate Andy giving Erica the moment of like, I'll let you tell you about my law case. Well, I won this one. Jay Edelson was on Kate Casey's podcast, who's directly involved in these cases, and she's got a very long road ahead of her. And just remember to look at all of the information. Just because one thing is said about one case on the television doesn't, it's like there are a lot. She is going to be going through this for the next, I would say, decade, probably. Yeah. Like, this is not going to stop. And also somebody is funding her legal defense. And that's where it's not even conspiratorial, but it's like, there are things that, remember, Tom didn't get here just by making a couple like little white lies.
No.
Tom planned these things out, and I would not doubt at all if there are offshore accounts, and
exactly,
it wouldn't surprise me. That's what I mean.
Come on, there's something going on there, and like, it just again, I like really used to love Lisa and Erica. Like, I loved Lisa and her like pretty mess era when she was first starting and she was performing. Like, and I just, where it started. Yeah, it's gone off the rails, and there was like a couple of things that started to turn me off. I've seen some old clips of like early Erica and how her voice has totally changed. And I'm like, okay, so now we're a character. We're no longer like Erica. We're actually a character on the show.
Yeah.
So
They
you are
all
like
turn into that.
evolved,
Rinna did the same
out of
thing.
control. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then second of all, like I remember reading rumors about the time that she signed on to do Chicago and Tom started coming on the show more and she signed that contract and they were holding hands and she was like crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, Erica is giving the role of her lifetime by making these tears come out of her eyeballs right now. Like there was something in me. I was like, I don't believe this for a second.
I think that's why the audiences are kind of, the Bravo audiences especially, are really cool because we kind of are, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we're sophisticated in the sense that we kind of feel what's real and what's not. There are certain viewers of Bravo, which I also appreciate, that kind of like just take it for like Bible. Like if it's on the show, that's how it goes. And I don't, but I think we all look into things and we live our own lives so we can kind of tell what's real and what's not real. And that's why I think we keep coming back to these shows. Are you watching Winter House at all?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
yes.
I need to ask you, which by the way, are you okay on time?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay,
Thank you.
And is your dog okay?
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard your dog at all, but I just don't want to. Okay,
he just keeps going in and out.
Your dog is Your dog is welcome on the show. That's what I mean. So
he's in and outside.
Okay.
He's like getting sun and then coming in to cool off.
So we're on the third episode of Winter House this week, and the second episode, Luke left because Craig, in a drunken rage, like I think Luke like petted Paige's hair on top of giving a massage to the new crypto
Jess,
girl,
to
Jess, who sells crypto, and he's like, I'll fucking kill you if you fucking ever like Craig's on one, like great for Bravo, but he is on one. And so Luke does not read social cues very well, it seems like. And in this third episode, Luke came back and he had a conversation with Jess where Jess was like, I don't want you to speak. I just want you to listen to me.
I love that she said that. The way she handled that was so
can you speak to that as a female?
Yeah, because, I think so often, like, first of all, I get the situation in the sense like her and Luke were flirty in the hot tub, etc. But she was like, I'm not going to kiss you. And he's like, but we're on a first date in the hot tub. And she's like, no. So like, right.
Well, there's cameras on us. There's cameras. We need to do it.
Like she drew a line in the sand. And then she was clearly uncomfortable when they stayed back with Kyle and Amanda, when she was speaking to Amanda about it. And then later that night, there was like the rubbing of the shoulders and she was visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So before I get into the whole Craig thing, like the fact of the matter is like Luke had like a one-track mind and he saw a girl or heard a girl say, I'm like interested in you. Yeah. But it stopped there. Like she was like, I'm interested in you, but I have boundaries. Like he didn't hear that, but
no, he just heard I like you. And he goes, turns out I'm a hot dude. Like that, this all works.
And suddenly he's like, I'm thinking about her when I'm brushing my teeth. It's like, bro, it's been like,
tells Kyle, he goes, I'm like thinking about her like all the time. I'm like, you've been in the house for 2 days, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So what complicates that for me is like social cues are not well received by men. And as a female, especially when you're in a house, like that, like when you're uncomfortable, I've been out to like clubs where I'm with my friends and like, some guy friends or their guy friends, and there's a guy there and they're interested and you're like, I don't want you around me. But it's like you walk away or you bring your friend in.
This is why I don't go out in public. It would break my heart to be like, I would be this dude of I don't want you around me. I do not touch people. So I'm good. Like, yeah.
But it's like, people, especially men, and I'm generalizing, don't get those social cues. And I can understand why Jess wanted to like, she didn't want to rock the boat of the house, but she was clearly uncomfortable. Craig saw that. Yeah, she's new. And Craig then, everything with Paige happened. And that's when Craig snapped. But
Craig had snapped, I think, before. Craig has been on one since day. I mean, guys, he was like the Kool-Aid man stomping on a table after Paige went to bed. Like he was just stomping.
And when he refused to clean the house,
he goes, "I'm not here to clean, man. That's why I make pillow money, dude. Because I don't want to." Like even Kyle was just like, "Dude, what the flake."
It's like insane. Be a team player. It's so bizarre. It was so bizarre to me. But to what everybody said in the episode, like his message was correct. His delivery was wrong.
Well, and his delivery seems to be wrong in so many other aspects of the show so far, not even just with Luke. I will say, though, in fairness, Luke did come back. Luke did not talk. Luke said, I get it. Hopefully we can build a friendship. And I felt that to be very sincere. You know, like I really, maybe this is because, I mean, he's been on the show a bunch and I try not to be preferential because I said super creepy his behavior with the touching, but I will say it seems like he's genuinely a good person that wants to do good things. And so hopefully he does like really listen to this.
And I think what was so important with Luke, like what I loved, knowing that he's in therapy and he's really trying to work on himself and grow, he was like, I'm going to take a beat at this hotel. Like, I'm not going to come back tonight. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I want to collect myself and my thoughts and my feelings and then return. And even though he wanted to speak to Jess, when she said, you're not going to say anything, you're just going to listen, he did that. Like he took in
because
that feedback and did it, which is like
the male thing though usually is like, no, I'm going to actually talk. That's what I'm no, I'll let you, but then I'm going to. Also, this is another funny thing. I love Winter House, you guys, just because it's like the minutia of like even the conversation of Kyle and Amanda where they both had to go number 2 and she goes, I go faster than you. Let me go. Like it was like such a relationship. And like, I don't even need big fights. I just like watching little moments like that. To me, it's a great refresher from Beverly Hills where it's like thick plot. Like I like that they're getting wasted. I was like watching the TV last night going, how are they fucking snowboarding after getting wasted? I was like sitting there going like, my knees would be shot. Like, how are they? I was so upset.
And it was so cold.
That Corey dude that wears the pearls, the new guy that was Craig's frat guy. He goes to a drinking place where they exercise before drinking because he's like, I'm like, what the?
And he did a backflip.
Oh, he did. Yeah, of course. The guy with the pearls can do a backflip. Also, they show that old picture of the fraternity of them, and they're so skinny, and now they're all like
so tiny.
Like they're like Corey's like ripped, and I'm like, anyways, I love
Winter House too. I love it so much. Like, there's a part of me, I'm like, I wish Bravo would do an influencer marketing thing where they brought a bunch of like you and Sam and all the Bravo people.
Can I tell you something?
Are you doing this?
Okay, you know, 2 judgy girls.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a friendship with Danielle, and so friendship court. Anyway, sorry,
Courtney.
Yes, Courtney. I'm like, I gotta edit that out. Where did Danielle come from? I have a friendship with Courtney, and she sent me the Airbnb listing for this house. Like, she didn't post it because she thought that would be a little too rude, but she posted the floor plan. And it is, I know how much money it is. And I said, what if we got 10 of us to go in there and like, just go like, I mean, even see if we could even survive a day, like the way they drink or whatever, and film it and like use it as content. And she was like, there's no way in hell I will do that. But I was like, good. We need somebody like you. We need a naysayer. You're perfect for this. We need to
I would do that.
Right.
I would 1,000% do that.
I'm going to share the Airbnb listing with you later because you got it because it shows you all the pictures of the houses and stuff. But wouldn't that be funny as hell if we then?
It would be amazing.
Because I was like, I want to stomp on the table like Craig does, and I want to like go into the bedrooms.
I want to go tubing down the backyard.
Yes! I mean, wouldn't that be cool?
Build just a fire like Luke.
Listen, my life has already gone way, of course, what I thought it would be. So why not just keep going in that direction?
Why not?
Also,
why the hell not?
Paige. I love watching Paige because Paige is in the first 6 months of a relationship with Craig during this. And you do see her wake up to a lot of things of like, and it's so funny, especially because in Summer House, she didn't have to deal with this. She could just comment on other people's relationships like Kyle and Amanda. So now, and you know, she's with a potential problem. And for Paige has always been cool girl that's been able to like stand from the outside and comment. And did you watch them on Watch What Happens Live, Amanda and Paige, the other night?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Well, first off, it was just hysterical because she's very funny of like, that's Craig. And I guess it continues on Summer House where she yells at Craig a lot during Summer House. Like Craig seems to be, there's a certain type of guy that Bravo like attracts. And it's like the Kyles and the Craigs.
A man-child? Is it a man-child?
They make great TV. But then you're like, these ladies have like some support group within each other of like,
oh yeah.
Dude, I was at BravoCon, like I was at Schwartz's 40th birthday party. I was at 5, like there was this bar with the Brass Monkey. We were at till like 5 a.m. They closed it down and we were still there. Kyle was with us and Amanda wasn't there. And I'm like, and he, by the way, Kyle was not hitting on anybody. Kyle was like, Kyle was like literally just drinking. And I was like, this guy walks this walk. He was definitely not hitting on, like I was talking with him and like he was talking with like the dudes, but the guy just likes to go out. Like the guy likes it.
Like, I think that also, like, there's the man-child thing, but I think there is this, like, character type of, especially the men on Bravo in these types of shows. Like, I know, like, not I know, but, like, they're not going out to try to pick up tail or whatever the kids say these days.
They're there to fucking
they
drink
just
with
want
their
to
boys.
party. They want to party. They want to be like, our lives are fucking great. I want to rage because all I have to do tomorrow is like put on a mic pack and walk around my apartment.
Well, one of my best friends, Nick, he used to we were on, because he's now has a daughter and all of my friends are having kids and we're on like a text chain where we would go out and get wasted and he would shout at some point during the night, we're gonna live forever, like after we did a shot. And now we were texting and I'm like, you bastard, I was just thinking about how you said we're always going to live forever. And like now, like my knees barely work. And like, I just like, how
you're
dare
playing with Fisher Price.
I think, you can't even
to.
leave your house because of your daughter. And you seem to really like your daughter. Like you're like obsessed with her or something. Get over it. Are you? Also the Lindsay Hubbard thing got brought up on Watch What Happens Live. So 2 things, they bring up that the Danielle-Lindsay relationship is completely fractured and they don't think it's coming back anytime soon. Do you know anything that happened?
No, I was going to ask you if you knew anything about that from BravoCon, because that's where they first commented, or Danielle did, right?
Well, I mean, we've kind of suspected it for months now because they stopped liking each other's photos and all of that stuff. But it was brought up at the Summer House panel, but it wasn't really brought up in any great detail. So I've been kind of just like fan theorizing about it. Is that, okay, if these are like 3 people that are used to being a friend group, there's a natural, like, once that, or could it be something more darker where did Danielle have information about Lindsay potentially hooking up with somebody like Austin way too close to her
Carl time?
Carl? Like, is that a potential thing? Like, what is it? And I just hate it because it's like Meredith, it's like Heather Gay and Whitney from Salt Lake. You know, it's like I saw them at BravoCon multiple, and they do not like each other right now. And it gets you, they're like done. Like
I'm so confused by that whole thing too. And I watched Heather and Leslie, what her name? Grossman on Watch What Happens Live. And I want to, okay, with Danielle and Lindsay, I think that something so bad had to happen for Danielle to be like, I am removing myself from this situation. Danielle was Lindsay's most loyal human
ride or ever. Die. I mean, I truly ride or die. And Carl was also good friends with Danielle. So that even like, it's something where like, if something really bad happened, I just would think that would almost make Carl more suspicious of Lindsay.
Yes.
Like, so Danielle must have played a part in this as well.
I know.
I'm so confused.
Because at first I was like, oh, Lindsay didn't like tell Danielle about the engagement and she found out publicly with everybody else. But like, I don't think it's something like that. I think it's something pretty deep, because Danielle is also now hanging out with Sierra, who obviously with like Austin and Sierra and Lindsay had their thing. So like,
we're on the Austin apology tour, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Seriously. Atone for your sins.
Atone for your sins. Yeah. By the way, like that, you would fit in on Winter House so well just because of the costume aspect. They really lean heavily to the costumes.
Oh, they love a costume. We're going.
We got to. I mean, actually, I'm not even, I know you might think I'm joking. I'm not joking.
I'm not joking.
This is where I will choose to waste my money. Like I spent all my money at BravoCon. I'll spend all my money on this. Are you keeping up with Potomac at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you got to. I'm just like really quick. I'm going to talk about that after this. So we're going to start recapping Potomac on the pod. But I got to tell you, I'm starting to become Team Candace, and it's worrying me. What she said this week on the episode about not today ankles, not today neck in regards to Giselle coming at her husband is iconic Housewives behavior. But we'll get more into that at another time. I know
I got to catch up.
Okay. Okay. Are you good for 10 more minutes? 10, 15? You good?
I'm totally fine.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Because I'm just
yeah,
having
yeah.
too much fun and I don't want to,
Yeah.
but let me know
No.
whatever. Okay. So I wanted to go back to other general pop culture of Matthew Perry from the TV show Friends, another person that has a book coming out, you guys.
Mhm.
And have you read about this book?
I've read some highlights. I am a huge Friends fan, so I've known about
Yeah.
his like drug use for a really long
Did you
time.
know to this extent though?
No, not necessarily to this extent, but I knew that there was like he had said a quote or some sort of conversation where he was like there was like 3 years of filming Friends that he like doesn't remember. And because he was on like prescription pills
Yeah,
and things
he
like
said
that.
when you saw him really he
With
said when you
Monica
saw him
and like healthy looking, that's
yeah,
like
when you saw him skinny, it meant he was on pills, and when you saw him fat, it meant he was drinking. He said,
yes,
he said only one season he was sober for that entire run, and that he would
was
actually
when yeah.
he would go to open houses on Sundays. You guys, being famous, he was already a millionaire and famous, and he would raid people's medicine closets in hope because he had it was like a 55 pill a day habit for Vicodin. And
Oh God.
and guys, it got to a point where he was in a hospital for I believe 9 months. You'll have to read he had to wear a colostomy bag. He would wake up in his own excrement because it exploded. Like, I mean, it was just, I mean, he almost lost his life. He spent $9 million so far on recovery. He's been in and out of 22 rehabs. I mean, it's frightening for somebody this hysterically funny, and that we have so many amazing funny memories of the darkness that he was living through and still living through. Like, that
Yeah,
blows me away.
I know. And it just blows me away that like you can truly lead this double life. Like he was at that time one of the most like one of 6 of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
For the kids listening, Friends, I mean, like for you that don't know the power of Friends, like I was talking about this on Friday of like the Thursday night television lineup on NBC was second to none. We'll never see anything like it again because you had that. It was on the tail end of Seinfeld, and then you go into ER on a Thursday night, and Friends meant everything for 9 seasons. And the sad thing is that this guy and all of those friends are rich beyond their wildest dreams. They won the lottery in so many different ways. And I was looking at the pictures when he was saying he was on pills and he still looks so like healthy and funny and happy. And you realize like, but sadly, as you get older, everything starts falling apart, and your body and all the abuse it takes and what we do to it starts like, and it just makes me so sad.
It's so sad. And like, I think what's so interesting again is exactly what you're saying. Like he looked so healthy and he looked like good, you know?
Yes.
And people are like, oh, now to know that are not people, me, I'm like, oh my God. Like, again, you really have no idea what people are going through because he looked so fine. And like, he was so funny. How are you like on all of those pills or drinking, but still able to come here and deliver week after week? Like Chandler is like my favorite character on that show.
Can you
know?
be a bigger character? I mean, and the Friends special, which was on HBO Max over the pandemic, you know, you could tell like he was like, you know, but he was still participating, and I know he had freshly gotten out of he'd sobered up for it, I believe, and all of this stuff. And he said Jennifer Aniston was one of the people that called him out on his behavior, and he'll always appreciate that.
And
but
constantly reached out to him. Yeah.
But it just imagine like having that kind of moving the needle in terms of like American pop culture, not even American. This Friends travels overseas. I mean, you know, it's Jax Taylor's favorite show, for the love of God. I mean, like it goes everywhere. And then to know
number one guy in the group,
the funniest person on, like the funniest, like sometimes people said he was the funniest guy on that show. I mean, you know, everybody has their favorites, and then it comes from deep, deep pain. And that just always just blows me away. I don't know. It made me really sad to read that. Are you going to read the book?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Me too. And when I say read, I mean listen to.
And I've already asked Celebrity Memoir Book Club for Prince Harry's book. I'm like, I need to come on the podcast and talk about this.
Well, I'm listening to a biography on Anthony Bourdain right now that just came out.
Oh,
and that was another one. If you compare it to Matthew Perry, like the first chapter talks about those last few weeks of his life before and this is a trigger warning, he took his own life, and he was in a relationship with this Asia Argento who was, you know, cheating on him, even though he, you know, like there's all of these things. And he was telling his ex-wife, he hated his life. He hated his fans. He hated this, like, but not like, but then in that way, when you're depressed and you just hate everything, like, but like, we all love Anthony Bourdain. We looked up to him. Like, he, to me, idolizes everything I want. Like, I wish I was as a dude, and to know that he was, carrying around that deep pain that, and just to tell you guys, I'm big on mental health. Like, we can be flying high one day and really down the next. Is that, like, don't ever, all it takes is one stupid decision and all that stuff. So always reach out, always, I swear to God, just wait until the next day. But like, cause this blows me away. Cause like, I would give my left testicle, or my right one too, to be Anthony Bourdain or Matthew Perry. But just know that still comes with all of the problems that we have today ourselves. They were just richer and more respected. So
exactly. And it's like, so I'm like back in therapy right now after everything that went on with my dad. I was like, contemplating life, and I felt very guilty coming back.
I think about death all the time now.
Yeah, exactly. And like, my therapist is talking to me so much now, like, about processing, right? Processing your thoughts, feelings, because that impacts your behaviors and actions. And like, it's like impulse, and learning to work through impulse is so hard. Even just learning to work through impulsive thoughts where you're like, I'm shit and da da da. And it's like, it's okay
the negative
to also
gremlin,
feel those thoughts. Yes. Like, sometimes you have to sit with them, but like, be aware that they will pass, but you have to give them the time and space to pass.
It took me a long time to realize that, like, our, sometimes our thoughts betray us. Like, just because it's in your head doesn't mean it's actually you. Does that make sense? Like, like just because we tell ourselves we're shit, our minds lie to us all the time. And you're like, that's confusing. It's your mind. Wouldn't you be able to control it? But that's not how the mind works. And especially over the course of decades, as you build these things up and these walls up and the resistance up, and you've said your shit every day of your life, it is really hard to break down those walls, because the first thought is always going to be the negative one. The positive thought is going to make you feel icky and gross and like, should I believe it or not? And for you guys who listen to me daily, you know what I struggle with. Like, it is, but like, I think about this all the time. Like, I think about death all the time. I think about, and not in terms, but like, just even dealing with your dad, I'm dealing with similar issues with my mom. And I just, you want, it's easier for me to compartmentalize and process or take my anger out on like Housewives or pop culture, because the scarier part is to actually have to deal with the reality of your own life sometimes.
I know.
Like, that's what I hate.
I literally ran away to Europe when everything was happening with my dad for like 3 weeks. I was like, I gotta go.
Like, I'm going to rent the winter house cabin. That's how I'm going to process.
Okay, goodbye. I'll be back. Like,
did that 3 week sojourn, which last time you were on, we talked about.
Yes.
Did it overall help you?
It did help me, but I didn't realize till after, when I went back into therapy, that I was very much using that like activity for a distraction, and that's fine. And that's okay. And like, I accept that, but it really was interesting for me to realize, like, oh my God, you were dealing with a lot of emotions and feelings and worry that you were processing by doing that, versus like acknowledging them and working through them, which again, this is what I'm learning, and that's okay. And the other thing that my therapist has been saying to me, and I feel like, this would resonate with you, but I've posted about it a lot, is like, you have a friend and they're going through a tough time, and you're like, you're amazing. You're great. You're going to get through this. Don't worry. She's like, why don't you say those same things to yourself and have some self-compassion? And I'm like, I don't know.
Because I'm a piece of shit. That's
why you're here. Hello.
Yeah, I know. That's why my insurance barely covers you. Like,
hello. Come on. I got 12 sessions, babe.
This is probably an overshare, you guys, but I share a lot with you. Is that, like, I was talking to my mom the other night, and we had gotten some bad news in regards to her, and she was emailing, because she said, give me time to process whatever this is. We find out, and then I will call you. And I hadn't gotten called for hours, and I was like, well, this isn't good, and I'm having to take, I'm thinking about Beverly Hills and all this stuff. And then she finally emails this long email, and I have a bunch of questions about the email. And then finally she calls me, and I'm like, I got to tell you, I was scared to pick up the call. I was scared to actually pick up the call of my own mother. And I picked it up, and we started talking, and I could tell, she'd been crying, and she'd been, but it was like, okay, we're going through it, we're talking. And then I start, like, I think I just say a stupid joke. And she laughs, just like a little small laugh, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little small laugh. And then we just started talking, and then I just started talking as me. And then I just started talking like I do just normally to my mom or to any of you guys. And then I realized, okay, well, I can still make my mom laugh. I can still and we ended up talking for like an hour and a half. Like we were on the phone forever then. I mean, too much to the point where I was like, Mom, I gotta go.
You're like I gotta go.
Hey, I'm sorry everything's going on with you, but I gotta go. I got work to do. No, but it was one of those things where like, but I was isn't it so sad that I was scared to pick up that phone? Like, isn't it like that I almost was like, I'd rather do this over email than over. And I just think that's so wild that we still, even no matter how old you get, we still learn these things from ourselves, and we still have to push ourselves to be better in situations where we might not have the strength for it.
Exactly. You're literally like making me like tear up right now.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
I said this.
I just love you so much.
I tell you, and I wouldn't have said this.
The podcast should be fun.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay,
I just want to say I love you, and I appreciate you being so open, because again, there is this like camaraderie and relatability that comes with you being open and authentic. So thank you for that. But I also agree, like, it's just weird. It's weird to realize like you can't control life.
Oh, we think we can. Infuriates me. I was like, it's easier for me to move all my shit in storage. Like I'm used to that. Like I've done that before. I went through a divorce before. I went through things that have tough before. I'm used to like I could like Jewel, the singer, I could live out of my car if I needed to. Yeah. Like I'm not at that place, nor don't worry guys. I'm just using that as an example. But like
join the Patreon, Patreon.
Guys, I really need you to join the Patreon this week, especially. I looked at that storage facility though. I was like, I could live in here. Why is it not legal to live in the storage facility? No. But it was one of those things where like, I'm used to like certain hard situations. Like we're conditioned, it's like when, we've talked about dating a lot over the course of the times you've been on the show. And it's like, that first heartbreak I always talk about where you don't know how to process it because your heart's never felt that way before. And so it just fucking like, oh my God, I'm dying. And then like when your heart, when you break up or have breakups and all that stuff where your heart hurts, it still hurts the same way, but it's like a muscle. Like, so
exactly.
You're like, oh, it's sore a little bit, but I can work this out. Tomorrow it's going to feel better, I think, but that first heartbreak, you just don't know. You don't know to feel those feelings.
Your life is over. It's just so foreign.
Okay. Let's end on a positive note, which is Vanderpump Rules. I am so excited that Vanderpump Rules is coming back because it seems like they have come to play. Like, it seems like they are already getting so messy.
They're starting.
They really are. And by the way, that's what I want out of my reality stars. And this Raquel Leviss is coming out of nowhere to be a shit stirrer all of a sudden. And yesterday, I think it was comments by celebs or something, like she posted herself in the Tom Tom sweatshirt. Which is, I think I own that Tom Tom. I was like, should I recreate this photo and see if I can get Katie Maloney mad at me?
There's your Halloween costume. There's your Halloween costume. Done.
But Katie responded to this of her posting this of like, because somebody said,
fangirl.
Yeah, you're fangirl. And then Katie goes, she always was a fangirl. And now she's a fan of Tom's. And, Raquel wrote back, I am a fan of Tom's and I support their business and stuff. But like, am I like, what? Raquel was like the quiet one in the corner that had to listen to DJ James Kennedy rant and rave. And now all of a sudden she's like the biggest threat on Vanderpump Rules. Like, what are we about to see?
I don't know, but girlfriend has found her voice. And I have very complicated feelings about this because I personally don't like, if her and Tom are a thing, I don't like that because I like Katie and I don't like meddling in the group like that. It's incestuous to me, but they spend a lot of time together, whatever happens. But I'm just like, this type of mess is going to save Vanderpump. So on the other side of the coin, I'm like, give me all of it.
And by the way,
all of it.
And then Katie, you guys, she's dating some 25-year-old that I got sent to. She's dating like a 25-year-old she met on the apps.
What?
And so, and this is, by the way, Katie, you know who listens to my podcast?
Who?
Katie Maloney's mom.
What?
And she's
Hi, Katie
awesome.
Maloney's mom.
And by the way, she's awesome. Like she's actually really like, I was like, are you okay? Because I almost was like, when anybody that I'm like, do I need to pre-apologize for something? Like, I don't think I've said anything super bad, but
Yeah,
Katie, by
racking
the
your
way,
brain.
looks hot. I mean, like, but sorry if I'm
Looks
allowed to say
amazing.
that.
No, of
Looks
course you do.
like best she's looked like, I mean, just
Living her
but
best life.
dating a younger dude, but also willing to stir it up with Raquel, who, by the way, I guess her real name is Rachel and she changed it to Raquel, somebody said.
What?
Yes.
I
And then the
never
people
knew
are calling her
that.
Rachel. And like, I mean, I'm like, I just hope that she's able to not act it out, or be able to portray what we're seeing online in actual scenes, and not like, I hope she goes for it, because her voice, Raquel's voice was always like, I
know.
I want her to have a solid voice, and Schwartz and Sandy's, you guys, supposedly opens this week if you're in the Los Angeles area. So we will have to go get a drink there.
Okay, done.
So they had some issues, but they're rushing it through. And I think it opens officially this week to the public, but I'll keep you posted as soon as I know.
Love that.
And let's see that.
And they're going to be on Summer House Winter House next week, which one am so, this is the other thing that I love. Like, I love a fucking good crossover, and we're getting a trifecta crossover now. And I'm like, this is amazing.
This is 90 Day Fiance universe on TLC did this first, I feel. And I feel like they got the jump start on Bravo, because at one time Bravo said, one time Andy had a quote saying, it would feel like we jumped the shark if we started doing that. And I think it was one of the only missteps Andy had ever had in his career, because they finally did it and it's working to great success. Like, Lindsay got involved with that Raquel drama, and like, she threw in a comment as well.
She did
against Raquel, and saying, and so I was like, I said, where's the Summer House Vanderpump Rules crossover? We need that. Like, I'm glad Sandoval and Schwartz got invited to Winter House, but I talked to Ariana on the podcast 2 weeks ago, and she's like, where's my invite? She wants to go. Like,
exactly.
Put
them all together.
Yeah.
It's like ultimate girls trip.
Butter.
Put them all together. I love it.
Don't do it with Housewives. And by the way, be careful on the internet, whatever you see on Twitter this week. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend with Elon taking over. A lot of accounts might be reactivated. So if that activates you or triggers you, do yourself a favor and stay offline. That is the best thing you can do, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll just stay online and just get angrier and angrier.
Oh, for sure. Consume.
A lot of accounts and hate and all of that stuff is going to be spewing these next couple of weeks. So really do whatever you can for your mental health. And we didn't even get to talk about the Kardashians, but they've taken over most of the Halloween costumes. This is where they make part of their yearly nut is just dressing up in fancy Halloween costumes.
Of course. And like all of the discourse of the last week, I made a TikTok because I went on TMZ one day and it was all Kardashians, Kanye. And I was like, I am so, like, we talked about Anne Hathaway and needing to walk away and then come back. Like, these Kardashians, I adore them. You know, I'm a fan. They need to take a beat. They need to take a beat.
Give us a month without Kardashian, just like a month without a Kardashian. It's going to be good for you, the Kardashians, as well, for their mental health.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. Finally, Giselle and Tom, they finally announced it. I got to get your opinion on Giselle and Tom. I'm not a sports dude, but like Giselle and Tom Brady, Giselle Bündchen, what we had suspected for a long time, and he's gotten 3 losses in a row, which I guess that has never happened in his career, maybe in a row. What is your take on this for our final story?
So here's the thing. I have inside scoop on this, because back when he came out of retirement, or said he was coming out of retirement in like August, I have a friend in the sports world, and I had posted on my story, and they wrote me and they were like, Giselle is pissed. And Tom, like, they sent a quote to me where they were like, my wife is so pissed at me right now. So apparently they said when they got married, the first 10 years of their marriage would be dedicated to him and his career. And then the next 10 would be dedicated to her and her career or whatever. And he reneged on that and went back.
He was like, psych, 11 years for me, 9 for you. Yeah,
exactly. And she was like, no, there's not a cheating thing. It's not scandalous. She's just like, this is like what I want. You're not giving it to me. I want you to spend more time with our children and our family. And he's like, I want to go play football. And it's just like,
but isn't that kind of awesome of Giselle though? Like, to be like, I actually believe in myself enough to stand up for what I want.
Yes. And like not joke, it wasn't a joke, but on Thursday Night Football this week, he got like sacked and they're like, oh, 45-year-old player getting sacked. Like, this can't be good. And like, I think it's starting to affect him, you know, his home life and personal life.
They say all sports is like half of it's mental. Like, I mean, how do you not let what is happening off field go into your performance on field? Yeah. And we also know the more that you want to do good, the less good you will do in life. It's like you have to practice this meditation of just like letting loose. Yeah, exactly. So Lex Niko, man, this has been my favorite hour that I've had in a long time. And I've talked to so many great people in the last week.
I love
Thank
spending
you
time
so
with
much.
You.
Okay, tell us all the stuff. Lex Niko on Instagram, right?
Lex Niko on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Again,
wait,
nothing to plug right now.
Didn't recently on Instagram you get like block? Like, didn't I have to do a backup account? Why did they deactivate you?
They said that I was impersonating me.
Were you? Wait, were you?
Surprise!
Oh my god! Yeah! Oh my god! You are Lex Niko. Oh my god! It is true.
So like they said I was impersonating someone, and I'm like, this is connected to my personal Facebook. Like my face is all over this Instagram. And
you're like arguing with robots, basically. When you try to argue with Instagram, you're just arguing with like AI and stuff like that. So it's like really, really intense.
So it took like 5 days. It came back recently with Kelly with Laguna Biatch. That happened.
Oh yeah, she got deactivated this week too. Yeah. I feel like for me, it's right around the
language. Corner, yeah. They're doing something. But again, like it was so weird, especially the reasoning that I was impersonating somebody. But I still look, that was when all the Don't Worry Darling stuff was happening. And I was like talking about Harry.
You were too close to the truth.
I was too close
to the truth.
And I swear all of those Harrys, again, going back to the fandom, let's close it out full circle.
Yeah.
I swear they all reported my fucking account because they were mad that I said Harry spit on Chris Pine. And then Saint Hoax, which has like, 3
I love Saint
followers posted my TikTok, and like they all got so mad at me, and I'm like, these people are reporting my account, and that's what happened.
Well, I'm glad to talk to the real Lex Niko today.
Thank you.
And you guys, so that and there is going to be big news with Lex coming up soon. So I will be announcing that as soon as I'm able to announce that. And that is it. This was a fabulous, you guys. I hope you have the best Halloween today and the best week ever. I'll be here with you all week doing wild, wacky shit like I always do. Yeah. And I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.